everybody. It's Call. You're watching Talking Ball, and I hope that y'all are having a good day. Good to see everybody. I know there are quite a few shows going on right now, so I'm sure the love will be spread across. If you're watching this on replay, thank you. If you can't make it, don't worry. No stress, no stress. But hey, everybody, glad to see you. Glad you're here. Hope you're doing well. Like I said, yeah, it's one day until we get to see our Spurs again. So I don't know if you guys are as happy as I am, but I cannot wait. We've already got some comments in here. I went ahead and starred this one because it stroked my ego a little bit. Thank you, Miss Ellie. She says, Colin, love your show. Keep the keeper, West Ham. Pre-video of you. It's one of the highlights. You look forward to it. It's fabulous. Thank you, Ellie. Thank you very much. We got Mr. Soroka in the building saying, Ellie, are you stalking me? I put out the link for anybody who would like to come in and join, talk a little bit with us about, Madison getting player of the month, POSTECOGLOU getting manager of the month. It's been a good month for the boys. So if you'd like to come and chat with me about that or anything, really, we could chat about anything. Sounds great. Come and join. It's always open here. It's me again, and then Adrian telling me that I, have missed the time, and he was right. I was 2 minutes late. Sorry about that, Adrian. Sorry, everybody, but glad to be here. Beer talk, morning, sir, morning. Nowhere I'd rather be. Oh my gosh, you're just too sweet. Yeah. So let's just, I guess, jump right into it. Awards for two of our own. Two of our boys got awards, and they're not just little baby awards. We see Matters there with his player of the month. We see Papa Post there with his manager of the month. That's great. I think it just goes to show all we've been doing. I think even though we've had such a successful start to the season, you see a lot of people dismissing it or saying, oh, it's only been 4 matches. Just wait. The wheels will fall off eventually, all that negative stuff. But I think this is just a nice reminder that, hey, things are going really well. No need to panic. No need to, look for the bad when there's good right here in front of us. So congrats to those two. Madison for 40 mil, homegrown, still is unbelievable to me, especially when it's 30, considering the Harry Winks for 10 to Leicester. And I'm not sure. Maybe somebody in the comments can let me know too. I don't follow the championship as much as I wish I did. So I don't know how Winksy has been doing at Leicester. I'm really hoping he can have a resurgence of his career there. I know that, Winks was not everybody's favorite, especially towards the end of his time with us. It sort of even seemed like maybe there were some attitude issues going on there behind the scenes too. But, we wish him nothing but success over at Leicester. I think it's a good fit for him. I think he will be instrumental in kind of helping propel them back up into the Premier League. And speaking of someone who's going to help propel now my show into being a better show, we've got a guest. And before I bring this guest in, I would just like to say she's wonderful. She's probably like my best friend ever. And she knows more about Spurs than anybody I know. Here she comes. It's Miss Ellie.
Good build up there, Colin. Yeah. Oh, you're such a lovely guy. And I was just doing rubbish, like proper mumsy stuff. And I thought,
yeah,
I'm going to leave that and come and join Colin.
Well, thank you.
Spurs are more important, and you're more important, your show. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I kind of flounder around a bit when it's just me. Kind of just jump from thing to thing real wildly. But yeah, it's really good to have you here. You help keep me on track. So thank you for that. Yeah.
It's nice to bounce off somebody, isn't it, as well?
For sure. And also, the chat loves you. So
I love them too.
Oh,
yeah, this is a Spurs community we all love. Yeah, I know there's times where people fall out, but they always make up. They do. They do all the time.
never lasts long around here.
No,
The
not
fights.
when you're having an argument with your little sister or your little brother.
Exactly, and
Yeah,
that's what it all is. It's one big old family. But yeah,
yeah,
Ellie,
yeah.
the awards. How
I
proud are you
know.
of these? How proud are you of these two guys right here?
Oh my God, and so deserving.
Sure.
Maddison for his football skills, that goal he scored, fabulous, and
Oh
his
man.
general play has been on point. And then we've got Big Ange. Who wouldn't love Big Ange? Come on, with his Aussie accent, he's wafted into Spurs and brought a new energy and a new style of play.
Yeah.
And he's brought the
I've got a
ethos
man
back
crush on
to
the
us.
guy. I've
Yeah,
got a man crush on him.
you know what I
He's
mean?
yeah.
Yeah,
There's something sexy about that badass attitude he's got. I
I
like that. You know
know.
what I mean? He doesn't play around in the interviews. He's not in the pre-match like pressers and stuff. He doesn't beat around the bush. I feel like we've had managers in the
Yeah,
past that like to kind of give non-answers and speak in metaphors.
yeah,
He'll just tell you how it is, mate.
that's it.
uh
The
and
thing is, I can't find him sexy because he reminds me of my dad.
yeah, that
I
would
said
ruin
that,
it.
didn't
That would
I?
ruin it.
It just kills it for me.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
but I find his football sexy.
There you
Flipping
go.
hell.
Yes.
There you
And
go.
I just like his attitude. I just like his attitude. We finally have somebody that seems
Yeah,
tough at the club. And it seems like he's not soft, not going to let the players push him around, not going to let things be dictated. I don't even think he's going to let Levy push him around.
no. He
So
can hold his own in any conversation. He's, like
yes.
you said, he's to the point. He's straight talking and he talks the truth. And I like it because he cares about our club. And, the way he talks about our club and the history, he's,
Yeah. And getting it back to where we belong. And
yeah,
he's that big old talk sport interview, the other day. He had some really nice things to say, and I liked that he said that he
yeah,
didn't just want to win one trophy and call it a day. He wants to set us up to be able to win every trophy, and
yeah.
I love that, and I bet you do too. I'm thinking
I
you're probably
do.
feeling the same way.
I'm of the ethos like you win a trophy, and like Steve Perriman says, the great Steve Perriman, our best ever captain, right, in my book anyway. He basically said it brings energy to the club and it brings an enthusiasm and a confidence. When you've
Yeah.
got the trophy underneath your, in your trophy cabinet, sorry, underneath your belt, it pushes you forward to even drive for more. And look what Man City have done. They've like gone all steam ahead. So we can do that as well. The style of football we're playing is going to bring us success, I'm sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely. I can't
Yeah,
wait to see the match versus Arsenal. But before that, we've got a match coming up against
I
Sheffield
know.
United.
We do.
I
Our
remain kind
nemesis.
of I was right. I remain kind of afraid of this match. And I'll throw up
Yeah,
this headline again from the other day. It's not Chris Wilder's team anymore, and I would have rather
no.
is. I think that they did more. They had more classic build up from the back and not so much kind of hoof it long ball stuff. We haven't really played
Oh,
a proper hoofing it long ball team, and I'm just afraid of how we're going to cope with it. But I'm sure that if I know this about them, then Postecoglou knows this about them. And if Postecoglou knows this, then I'm sure he's, conveyed it to
yeah.
the players. They've been practicing for it. I'm sure that they've been preparing, for this exact scenario. But it'll be interesting to see how this very attacking football we play fares against, a proper long ball team. I'm excited to see.
Yeah, because we've got strength and power in our team now, and we've got pace, right? If you've got pace and power, you stand a chance against any physical side. And we
Oh yeah.
can mix it with the best. We've got Romero and Van der Ven, who are very physical. Then you've got the power of Udoji bombing down the wing, and then VDV's got his back. And if VDV tends to be more cautious coming out, whereas Udoji will come out and so will Romero. But we know VDV can recover. We've seen it
Yeah.
already. So yeah,
He's
I'm
gonna need to have
excited
a big
for that.
game.
Yeah. I just feel that we've got too much for them. We've got too much artistry in our team and we can unlock any defence. all right, against Brentford, they played a low block and they kept us at bay, but we were still trying our best to
Yeah.
get those goals, and we did score two.
First match of the season as well,
Yeah,
too. You know.
there'll
Yeah.
always be
So
a little bit of teething problems, and but we've ironed them out now. And look, we went 1-0 down against Burnley, but we came steaming back, didn't we? Yeah,
absolutely. I didn't doubt it for a second either. The way we were
yeah,
playing, it was almost like it was just a matter of time.
yeah.
Just don't want to derail things too much, but John Fitzpatrick is here. I know it's late there for you,
Yeah,
John. Late. You probably got to work tomorrow. No, wait, tomorrow's Saturday. Yay!
yeah.
John can join us for the
Match
late
day.
night party.
Or Sean
Hello to
Butter would
John
say,
Fitzpatrick. Oh,
Yay!
Jay!
I know, I can't do it. I'll get a sore throat if I do that.
Same. It hurts just thinking about it, really. But
I
but
know.
Mr. Fitzpatrick, thank you so much for being here, my man. Hope you are enjoying your Friday night.
Yeah.
Hope that your week went well, and thanks for choosing to spend your time here, man. Missed you. Links in the chat if you want to pop on and say hello. We're just goofing. But yeah, so we got this match against Sheffield. Beer Talk says thinks that Burnley are a better team and maybe even a tougher matchup for us, and we dispatched with Burnley. So yeah, maybe he's right. I mean, I didn't know enough about Burnley going in. Burnley surprised me. I was expecting the Burnley of years past, where they were very much themselves a long ball team and a very tough team to play, very physical. And that's not so much what we got. I noticed that they were, trying to build out from the back, using the wings, using pace on the wings to try to get the ball forward quickly, get in an early cross. It was an interesting way that they played.
Yeah.
It's neat to see how teams that have an identity for so long, like Burnley, and how that identity can shift so quickly once you get a new manager in. It's wild. It seems like John says he's running on fumes. It's 1:45. Well, dude, thank you again for being here. We really, really appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Burnley, don't you agree? They used to kind of be a tough, hard nosed, not
Yeah.
super technical type of team. They relied more on their strength and physicality and directness than building up. And that seems to have changed. So I guess what I'm just trying to say is it's neat how much a manager can come in and change a team so quickly. I think it's only been this is only his second season in charge, right, Vincent Kompany?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he has changed the ethos of their play, and they play on and off the ball. We had to be our best to beat them. They've just changed their style completely, and it goes with Chris Company. He comes from fabulous stock. He played for Belgium as well, plus Man City.
Right.
He was like the pinnacle of their team, Vincent Company. He held their team together, right? And they've even got better since then. So, you know what? I can't blame them for changing their style, right? But, in this league, sometimes you have to adapt, all right? And I'm not saying that he's got to go back to what he saw, what Burnley were doing before, sorry. But I just feel like he's got to make sure that he shores up the defence and starts getting results, because he could be out of the door. Football is a cruel game.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they see them sliding down and staying at the bottom, he could even lose his job. So he might have to adapt that style of play. But if I was him, I wouldn't. Because in football, right, if you play how you want to play, like Postecoglou's playing now, you stick by your principles, it will come good. It's just some of the teams, they are more technical. So you've got to compete with that, and you've got to get your better players on the ball more often. And I found that they weren't using their better players against us to their full advantage. And we took advantage because we did use our better players very, very well, and it paid off for us. So I think Vincent Kompany's a man of his principles. I think he'll stick to what he knows best going forward, trying to score goals. They scored 2 goals against us. You
Yeah,
know, in
they
a
sure did.
normal league match, that could win you the match.
Very true.
Yeah,
And I like what you said about keeping his same kind of ethos and his same philosophy, even if it means he might lose his job. Because with what you're
yeah,
saying, I agree, because other teams are going to see what he's doing. They'll take notice and they'll be able to factor in, hey, he doesn't have the best possible squad, And
yeah.
so even if his style of football doesn't get all the results, with Burnley, that doesn't mean that he couldn't implement that style of football at a club that has more resources, that has better players, that has a bigger transfer
Oh,
budget,
no.
and get everything going there. You know what I mean? I think that he's setting himself up to be a manager in the Premier League for a long time, even if it doesn't
Yeah,
work out at Burnley. But I did like the comparison that you made between him and Postecoglou, both having a very
yeah,
rigid system that they play and being pretty unwavering and choosing to play that system. Um,
yeah.
I guess on that note, do you think that we'll see Postecoglou ever have us sit back? Do you think we'll ever sit back and play Conte-esque ball, even if we were to play out against, line up against Real Madrid or Barcelona? Do you think that we'll ever see us sitting back, or are we going to attack
No.
all
No,
the time?
because you've seen the videos of Postecoglou screaming, "Why are you passing back?"
I
He
love it.
hates the back pass. We've played a few back passes, but not like we did against Conte with Conte. Sorry. So, yeah, I just don't believe that. I think Postecoglou's is coming from a place where he wants to play front foot football. He wants to play exciting football. He wants the fans to enjoy themselves, which we are. You know, you can play exciting football, right? But you might not get the results, but he's getting the results as well. All right. So
Exactly.
it is a results business at the end of the day. You know, nobody remembers all the flair play if you don't succeed and you don't win trophies. They might remember it for a while, but if you're not winning things, I think fans become very fickle, especially
Yeah.
Spurs fans. I think we're the most fickle fans on earth.
I think you
We
might be
really
right.
are.
You might
But we
very
do
well be right.
appreciate good football. Yeah. If we see that there's progression and we see our players really caring and trying, they might lose a few matches, but if they put every ounce of their being into that match and we've lost it because, a technicality or a VAR decision,
Yeah.
doesn't go our way. Yeah.
I agree. I agree. And
Yeah.
I mean, about Spurs fans, though being fickle, we still do talk so fondly of Pochettino and the football that he got us playing, but he also got us to a Champions League final. We can't
Cool.
discount that. I think that's another reason why he's so remembered and so well remembered. Um,
Yeah. And he was
do,
noted for his fantastic football as well. He made
right.
us play, and we had some fabulous players. I'll say even better players than we've got now in the whole, because we had Dembele, we had Vertonghen, we had Alderweireld, we had
Toby, yeah,
Trippier, we had Lloris at
yeah.
his peak. And then we had a few duck
Danny
ones.
Rose. Remember Danny
Yeah,
Rose when he
Danny
was
Rose, he
looking
played
good?
in the Champions League semi-final. Then we had Sonny and Mora fielding for Kane, and
Yeah.
we still had Kane and we had Sonny firing on all cylinders in that Champions League.
Ericsson was still with the
Ericsson,
team.
fabulous.
Yeah.
We had a fantastic team and he gelled them all together. So we can thank Posh for that, bringing exciting times to our club. It's a
Yeah,
shame we just
absolutely.
didn't win it, get one over the line. We had
No
four
kidding.
opportunities and we failed on all four occasions, so
Yeah.
sometimes that happens in football, you know.
Yeah, it seems like the luck has been going against us for so long that it's got right
Oh,
averages, right? We have to win one of these times here.
come
Um,
on. Yeah.
but and so I guess that leads me to FA Cup. We could talk about the FA Cup for a second.
Yeah.
Obviously, the league that's a very long season. Winning the league is very tough. You
Yeah.
have to be good over such a long period of time. Obviously, not telling you anything you don't
Different.
know, but yeah,
Yeah.
but a cup, FA Cup even. I know it's not the Carabao Cup, which would have been obviously I think the easiest cup competition for us to win, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I would really like to see us go all in for the FA Cup, especially now that we're out of the League Cup. You know what I mean? Or out of the Carabao Cup, especially now that we don't have any European competition. So yeah, hopefully we just play full strength squads in both the league and the FA Cup, and I think that we have an honest to God chance of winning it, especially with manager playing the football he's playing, and he's even said the players don't even. They haven't even fully grasped the system yet. There's still room to grow. I mean, coaches said, he's said as much. That there's still a lot for these players to learn about the system, for them to feel comfortable, and for them to have full confidence in it. So I can't believe that. With the football we're seeing, it looks like they've been playing it for 5 years. It's awesome. So
it does. They've adapted very well.
Yeah, absolutely. Beer Talk says, do we need to go deep in the FA Cup for people to be fully on the Ange train? I guess not this season. I'd still be on the Ange train as long as the football looks this good for the rest of the year. I could take a couple of big defeats, I think, not huge ones, please, but I could take some defeats, which inevitably is going to happen. I mean, we can't get past that. But I don't know, Ellie, before I get your answer to this question, I want to bring in a lovely gent that has appeared in the back room. Let's give it up for the lovely Adrian Stroka. What's up, Adrian?
Hey, Adrian.
Oh, I'm eating.
Adrian.
Hey, no. Well, we got to know now. What are you eating?
Mint.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And Adrian socked it to a gooner yesterday. Well done, Adrian.
I think I was probably a bit out of order, wasn't I? Was I out of order?
No, you weren't. He was out of order. You was a gentleman. You held your own.
Boom. Well, I don't know the context here, but I'm proud of you. Anytime that you can give it to
we'll tell you after the show.
Yeah. Well, proud of you though, Adrian. Glad to hear it.
Colin, it appears our Spurs fan base is growing, doesn't it? I mean, Sean Butler on his walks. I love his walks, right?
Yes.
He said this morning that he thinks I think it's definitely a contributing factor. He thinks because we have NFL games at the stadium has come before noticed in America. And those that like NFL might want other sports as well, not a sort of their internal compass is pointed towards Tottenham, and they become Spurs fans, which I think is brilliant,
Yeah.
It's a very good point. Yeah, absolutely. Kind of like unknowingly or without them really consciously thinking about it. You're right. They go to the stadium, they see, all the pictures of the players and I'm sure that that's a very, very good point. Sean makes some great points, by the way, on his walks and otherwise. Yeah, he's awesome. Very, very intelligent guy.
Yeah.
But it's a good point. It's a very good point. There's even been talk of having an NFL team permanently located in London. They've been talking about that for like a decade. But I mean, if that happens, I think the fans of that team are guaranteed Spurs fans. You know what I mean? There's not really any other option.
Well,
I remember last year, right? Just quickly, I was at the Grand. I was just going to the Spurs shop, right, for my cousins, and I was outside, and there was loads of American people queuing up for the tickets, right? Because they were like going for the tickets at the Spurs shop, right? And they were walking up, and I walked up with them. And we had a really good chat. And they were saying how excited they are to come and watch Premiership football at our Grand as well, because they like make a thing of it. They don't just come for the NFL; they stay for a long time and they watch matches as well. And they were really excited about it. And I've noticed on Instagram, loads of American Spurs sites have set up, loads of them from all over the country.
I'm trying to get an official supporters group in my area here, but you had to have it. There's some stipulations and stuff. But I'm working on that. So I currently travel about 2 hours to go to the closest one to me. But yeah, it'd be great to have one in my town. Growing and growing. I guess what you're saying about the players, or not the players, the fans coming for the NFL, staying for some Premier League action. They probably need a place to stay. I guess I can see why Daniel Levy is pushing so hard to build this big old hotel. I know it's a point of contention with a lot of people. You know what I mean? Whether or not that's the right move, but from a purely money making standpoint, I'm sure it would be full. I'm sure that they would have no problem renting out the rooms. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that the area is becoming too gentrified and harder for the people that are actually from and have lived there to afford to continue to live there? Or do you think they're doing? I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it enough to know if they're putting any like affordable housing in, or if it's all just fancy new houses. When I was there last, everything looked, for the most part, the way it had a couple of years before. But I'm not sure about, with the hotel, with these changes. Just real quick, I know we could go on this for a long time, but what do you guys think? Do you think that the area is becoming too gentrified and too pricing out the locals too much?
Well, Tottenham needs regenerating. So you can't have it two ways. You either go with the gentrification, you improve the area of property, and then what happens with Spurs, if we've got land and we're building them, the land values goes up, the property values around the area go up, and the value of the stadium goes up. The hotel's being built on the stadium. It's in the south stand, back of the south stand zone. They've tried to narrow the broad bay to the hotel and add more floors because they don't want it to be too wide at its base and intrude on the fan zone area. It is all hauled in off. It's where they've got toilets in that fan zone area now. I think the footings for the hotel are already in. I could be wrong, but it looks like it. So it wasn't originally going to be 160 room hotel. Then it was 180. Now I think it's 180 with 45 apartments. But like you say, teams that come to London to play us will be able to stay at the hotel.
Yeah.
So and Spurs will get some money for
them a bit of dodgy lasagna, won't we?
There you go. That will never. I would say that'll never go away. That'll be something Spurs fans talk about for the next 100 years. But yeah, I mean you're right. And I mean, as far as like fans, like visiting fans, a lot of people that are coming, they're not short on money. They could make the fees at these hotels pretty exorbitant, and I feel like people would still come and pay. Tourists, American tourists, South Korean tourists. You know what I mean? Like the people, they've got money. It's just, I guess, whether or not that money would be put back into the team, which is the age-old question. That will never seems to be answered. But
you'd probably get a package then in the hotel with your tickets to watch an event, because to be fair, who wants to stay in a hotel in Tottenham? I mean, no one. you need attractions, don't you? So like you've got the attractions of what's going on at the stadium.
Yeah.
As for a full team at Spurs, I'm not sure about that, having an team there for 17 games they play now. They increased the NFL one, didn't they?
Yeah, I believe you're correct. I think it is 17.
So you might have 8 or 9 home games. Now, no, I could be wrong here. Now, they're not having 2 games, and they've just increased the deal they've got with the NFL to take them way past the existing one, to have 2 teams playing, well past the contract they'd previously signed. It was 10 games originally over 5 years. Now I think they've increased it. They've increased it again. But if you've got other events there, whether it's boxing, concerts, NFL football, do you really need an NFL team there? And the reason I say that is because over 7, 8, 9, 8 home games, right, if they're playing them there, would the novelty wear off for London fans and you wouldn't fill the stadium after a while? That is my only... But you would fill it if you've got Beyonce there, you've got boxing there, Yeah. So, I mean, you've got rugby there. I mean, I don't know. They'd obviously do the market research on it, right, and see if it's financially worth. And it depends how much money you make at an NFL game, to a concert, to a boxing match, to a rugby match there, like you see. So there might be grounds for it to have one. But as Spurs, Joey Lewis is New York. So,
yeah, it would help pay for one of those for sure. But no, I know what you're saying, Adrian. You are making sense that, right now the football matches are filling up, but that's because, like you said, there are a limited number of them.
They make. I mean, the turnover's phenomenal, but the problem is we've got a lot of debt, haven't we? I mean, we turned over on the financial report I read. We turned over 444 million last year, but
a lot of money.
that was the second hit of COVID year, right? Because COVID come over 2 seasons. when we had to borrow that 180 million and pay it back to the government, or whatever it was, 100 odd million.
Had to borrow it, but yeah, know what you mean.
Yeah.
But so out of that money, we paid 41 million pound in interest. Just think of that. You could put down payments down on 2 or 3 players for that amount, and we showed a 51 million pound loss on the last year. So the accounts are always a year behind, right? So we showed a 51 million pound loss because we got a huge stadium debt. I was going to ask Sean, I'll try to ask him because I'm not going to get in a ring with him over finances because he's the kiddie.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to ask him how we're amortizing the stadium debt and what outstanding liabilities are there on financial liabilities on players' transfers that we are. Amortization, big word, isn't it? Basically, what it means is how your debt is reduced over a period of time, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever it is. It's just a way of reducing debt. And all the financial whiz kids, they all use that word. They love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah. But it's interesting.
I think they put the debt in America, didn't they? They got a really good deal and they put it in America. I think it's pittance of interest that they pay, which is good for the club in the long run. I think, is it over 30 years, Adrian, they've done it?
There was rumours of that, and I don't know if they've started paying or they're paying. I'd like to see a breakdown and report that shows it.
Yeah.
But Spurs, Craftler, they merge everything in together in certain sections of the report.
Yeah.
And you've got every report since they've been owners of this club in my group, right? So to have a look through. But when you look at balance sheets, are always drawn up differently from different companies and all. They do it all differently as long as it's legal. But I can read balance sheets; it's not a problem. Revenue streams, and people say like, "Oh, if we get a naming rights deal, or if we get this, fans go, oh, we won't. Oh, that money won't go into the team." What fans need to know is you have to all our revenue streams are combined and what our total revenue is for the year. So if it's 444 million, and then it's out of that amount of money that the club decide what they're going to use for transfers, to put in a transfer fund, because that isn't, when people say, they think that's profit. It's not profit. It's just the total of all the revenue streams.
Right, which then has to go towards, like you said, interest on loans.
Yeah, and the stadium. The stadium doesn't make the most money, right? Because there are two main. If at the end, I think on page 46 or 47, my memory serves, there was a list of top companies, right? You've got development companies, other companies, and all that all down. There's a couple of them that are not trading. There's two main companies that are to do with the football. There'll be others, but the two main ones for money. You've got the original Spurs company, which you'd have seen, Ellie would have seen, I would have seen back in the day, which was Tottenham Hotspur Atletico Football Company Limited, right? Long-winded name.
Right? Very much so, yeah. Very long-winded name.
That earns the most, that brings in the most money because that holds all the players' registrations, and the kicker is it gets the TV money.
Okay.
Tottenham Hotspur Limited own the stadium. The stadium revenue could be anything for, like, you might be talking about 120 million pound a year, but if you're earning 444 million, obviously there's more money being earned elsewhere, because I'm just basing that on, like, about say you got 2 cup home games and the others, you're talking about 20 games, aren't you? If you made 6 million a game with ticket sales and that, they might be making more. I don't know. That'd be 120 million. But didn't think that was, because when they were talking about our gate receipts, what we was losing by the stadium being closed at that particular time, they said COVID had cost Spurs 185 million, right? So that was in loss. So you're talking about lost revenue over more than one season, because COVID went past one season, right? This is not one season. Right. So 185 million. So you would then divide that up, like, okay, how much is that as tickets? And then you could say, how much lost through food and drink, skywalks,
right,
merchandising and things like that. So I think they're earning anything from 90 to 120 million a year from the stadium itself, And for events, they lease it. So I think what normally happens, I can't swear to this, but my theory behind it is they'll lease it to the NFL, or they'll lease it to Beyonce. She pays a fee for the stadium. she gets the ticket sales. Spurs get everything else. It's a bit like West Ham don't own the ground. They don't get the money for food and drink, right? The food and drink goes to whoever the company is that owns the stadium. You got steward in and all that around there and everything else. So, like, Spurs will make the 500 million. I mean, like, the big difference is, I mean, I think Man United in their best year earned about 660 million. So we're behind them. I think last year Chelsea earned about 481 million, but more than us. But the thing that gets me with these clubs, they haven't, I mean, like Man City, they haven't generated that. This is why they probably got all these charges. They haven't generated all that money through their fan base that don't even turn up to European games, have they? And yet so much money's been injected into that club. We've always been, at Spurs, look, I mean, I'm biased anyway, I'm a fan, but we've always been disadvantaged. You know, we had to move out of that stadium because it only held 30,000 people on a good day, the old stadium. I love the old stadium. I mean, like, so many great nights there. But because of the, you know, we had to have a new stadium.
And 36,000 when they increased it to 38, didn't they?
Yeah,
36 and but no more than that. It was never.
But then you had Arsenal 60,000, Man United got 75,000. You know, or you've got rich owners that make up the slack, haven't you? You know what I mean? Like Newcastle, and whatever. So you're disadvantaged. I love the new stadium. I love it, but we the fans, we're like paying like premium tax because we're paying on increases in seat prices. And food and drink in it has gone up enormously. And they're doing it to counteract inflation. I get the financial angle. But when that stadium first went open, I mean, you could get, if you got in there, I think it was with an hour of it opening or between an hour before kickoff, you could get a pie and a pint for £5. Yeah. Now, the pint's over £5 something.
£8.95. Because I've got charged £8.95 for a pie and a drink.
Yeah. And the pie on top of that, like if it's just one of them, they're nice, them sausage rolls, got loads of meat in them and all that. Like they're really big. But like they're like £4 whatever, you know. So, and it's like, so if you go and have a couple of pints and when we win, people want to celebrate, they go and have a few drinks, you know what I mean? But when they froze my season ticket price, but each season they put the beer and food prices up, you know. So I'm glad the trust are protesting against ticket prices again. I am a member of the trust. I think it runs concurrent. I pay each year a £5 because I'm classed as senior citizen. So
true.
Hey, and guys, I hate to do this. I'm running late a little bit on time. I'm gonna have to start earlier in the future, but it's time for Keep or West Ham. All right, is everyone ready? I need to see a hand.
I'm ready.
Ready? Adrian's ready. Okay.
I'm ready.
Here we go. Hello there, and you're watching Keeper West Ham on Talking Ball on Crap of the Day. It's kind of a mouthful, but it is time for Keep or West Ham, the game show in which I pit two Spurs players against each other, and you, the poor fans, have to decide who to keep and who to send to West Ham. And just to be clear, we are sending these players and keeping these players. It's their prime versions of themselves. So we are, if it's two players that are quite old at this point in time, they are in their prime for the sake of this argument. Are you guys ready to go? Are you guys ready to have? They're not easy again today. They're not easy, but maybe it depends on how you look at things. So let me see which one I want to start out with here. Okay.
Oh,
So this one we've got Ryan Mason versus Scott Parker. And both midfielders, one had a much longer career with us than the other due to reasons. But yeah, both players I think that weren't the most skillful, but both played very hard and both put a lot of what they had into the game. Adrian, I'll go first with you, my friend. Who are you going to keep and who are you sending away to West Ham?
I'll keep Scotty Parker. I don't think West Ham would want him back after selling him twice.
That's true. But I mean,
I'll keep him. He's very, very influential in midfield. His stats were very similar to Sandro's, I think, when Sandro was playing at his best with his dodgy knees as well.
Yeah.
And to me, more valuable team asset than Ryan Mason, I just think.
yeah.
I can agree with that. Ryan Mason was good. He had a lot of heart. He cared about the team, having come through the ranks. That always goes a long way with me. But at the end of the day, you need a player that's going to help you win matches and not one that's going to have a lot of passion only. But Ellie, curious, are you on the same page as Adrian and I?
Yeah, Scotty Parker. He reminded me a cross between Sandro and Højbjerg because he's fine. Yeah, I had to mention my man there because I always have to mention him every stream. But
you know what?
Him in. His tenacity to win the ball back. He was more skillful than people gave him credit for as well. He could carry the ball well. He hardly ever lost the ball.
He always did the 360.
Yes.
He'd always do the little 360. Yep, that was his move. And I like that he was one of the last players to always have his shirt kept tucked in. I noticed. They don't really do that anymore, but he was always tucked.
Very
liked it.
Player. Played the game with all his heart. I liked Ryan Mason, but he was pretty, I wouldn't say average, but he didn't hit the heights at Spurs. And we had to let him go. So we're going to let him go again. He's going to West Ham. Scotty Parker, we're keeping you. Come on,
it's unanimous. Scotty P,
yes,
with the win here. All right, so that one wasn't too bad. We had a unanimous decision. This one's hard for myself personally, but we'll go ahead and we'll go. It's Eric Lamela versus Lucas Moura, and I know that with just the Champions League heroics, that a lot of people would choose Lucas. I'm trying to keep that out of my mind here when I choose, and I'm just trying to think of them as players, as what they offer the team, which I'd rather have, and for me it's really tough. I'll save myself for last. Let's go Ellie first on this one.
Well, I'm going for Lucas Moura, not only because of that goal. He just had better dribbling skills and he knew when to pass the ball more often than Lamela. I think Lamela was a bit of a hogger of the ball, sort of done that little rollover with his foot. Very clever footballer, but just flattered to deceive a lot of the time. Whereas Lucas, he gave his heart. They both actually gave their heart to the team. They were both really passionate players. Yeah, but I just think Lucas just tips it because of his dribbling. He could take the ball, similar to what Jimmy Greaves did, but he just didn't have enough end products for me. If he could finish like Jimmy Greaves, what a player he would have been. What a player. Good. But he just didn't have that. So, but he's got some really good goals for us, especially in the Champions League semi-final. Who could forget that night? One of the best nights of a Spurs fan's life in modern times anyway. So I'm going to give it to Lucas, and sorry, Lamela, you're off to West Ham.
That's one vote. That's one vote for Lamela to West Ham. So yeah, Adrian, what have you got, buddy? Who would you keep out of these two?
I'd keep Lucas as well. Even when he first came to the club, he just excites people. Lamela, don't get me wrong, I love Lamela's tenacity, and if it wasn't for his injury issues, well, I might be talking about keeping him now, but I've got to go on what I've seen. When I've seen Lamela do good things, you want him in a fight. Lucas, everyone loves a mazy dribbler. You just love a mazy dribbler. I mean,
that's true.
He should, if he could look up a bit more, Lamela, and lay the ball, Lucas, and lay the ball off, he would have been he would have been a
Yeah.
hell of a player. But if he could
Yes.
pass the ball like Decky does, right, in the final third, he would have been absolutely. He'd have been £100 million player. But he just wanted to beat everyone. When it worked, like at West Ham, when he scored, like at Man United, when him and Kane played up front together, and he went for it, he scored, and we won there 3-1 or something, or 3-2, something I can't remember. And he got a pair of goals. He had them games, didn't he? I think he scored a hat trick against Huddersfield once, and and
he just always thought he could beat one more player. It looked like, you know, I can do it. I can beat this next guy, and then inevitably he'd lose it. And
you always want him to do well. And like when he came on as a sub, other teams crap themselves because they're tired legs. He's got the legs, you know what I mean? So so he had that sort of effect as well. And like, look, I mean, I ain't knocking both players for their love for the club. I mean, even when Moura's gone back to Brazil, he expressed how much he loved the club as well. So, and that's a big thing in today's football. And Lamela did as well. They'll always look out for Spurs results, you know. But Lucas threads it for me just because he excited me.
I get that 100%, and I'm going to disagree with you guys, but only because I'm a huge shit house of a person. When I played football, I was always riling people up, and I was always, trying to bait people into fouling me. I don't know. I just love that aspect of the game. Lamela embodied it perfectly. His Rabona goals. Oh my God, who could forget those? But yeah, Lucas was just infuriating because, like you said, he could have been such a great player, and I think had he just learned to trust in his teammates and not just his own abilities, and pass the ball a little bit more, like you said, I only don't pick Lucas because it's just frustrating with how good he could have been. Lamela, we know what we're getting. We're getting a guy who's going to go out, throw some elbows, 2-foot somebody, maybe score Rabona, and maybe get somebody from the other team sent off. And I think you need that kind of wild card, wild man in your team. And so I want to keep Lamela. And that just to add, that we don't want to agree everybody all the time. That's no fun.
Wow.
So yeah. So that was number 2. Our third and final, if you're ready.
All right.
Michael Dawson versus Jan Vertonghen. And this one's tough for me too. I think there's clearly one defender who's better, but if you think about like the time at the club, if you think about where we were as a club at the times, I think it gets tougher. And then you think about how I'll just let you guys. I don't want to steal all the talking points, but Adrian, we're going just back and forth here. Who do you keep out of this pair here?
Please, it's Vertonghen every day. Every day. Yeah. He's such a quality defender. Dawson, I don't know why Dawson was let go when he was let go. I think it was because when Poch was there, and there was a big clear out over a few seasons with Poch. And I don't know if he was losing pace or whatever, but he never had a great deal of pace, Dawson. And the thing was, although he was a fantastic defender, you couldn't see him, right? A bit like Dyer now. If you're playing a high press, could you play Dawson in a high press team if you haven't got the pace? And we did press with Poch. So
yeah, we did.
I didn't like it because he's a real fan's favourite for what he's given to the club. I'm glad he's an ambassador, right? But quality-wise, Vertonghen when he come at his best. I mean, like, you might put him in. You might put Vertonghen in your best Spurs 11. It'd be debatable, So
you can make that argument for sure.
Vertonghen for me.
Real quick, want to say to big up to Beer Talk. He's got to run. Thanks for being here, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you too bad there, Adrian. No. But yeah, Vertonghen. It seems like that's the consensus for you. Vertonghen was just a classy player. He was calm on the ball when he needed to be. He, at a point, as before he started to get a little older, he had that recovery pace to get back, and he hell of a slide tackle on him. And with that, I mean, he didn't take people out. He could get his toe, right where it needed to be, right on the ball, and make those some beautiful slide tackles I can remember. But yeah, Elle, what about you? Who are you picking out of these two?
100% Vertonghen.
Yeah.
what a great player. Fantastic defender. A great defender doesn't even have to make a tackle. If they anticipate, right, anticipate danger, they read the game. And Vertonghen was up there with the very best I've ever seen. Not just at Spurs, like you can put him in the world 11, because that guy, first of all, he was with he was with Alderweireld, who didn't have a lot of pace, but they were both clever. Whereas Alderweireld used his brain, Vertonghen can use his legs and his brain. And boy,
and they knew each other so well that they knew where to be. They knew where one had a deficiency. They could kind of make up for it.
Yeah. And I just loved Vertonghen, the way he played football. He was so classy and stylish to watch, very relaxed on the ball. You never felt any panic when he had the ball. And I remember that goal he scored against Man United when he drove down the wing and it got a deflection. But it was fabulous from a defender to do that. The last time I saw it, like where a defender ran at the defence like that, was when Alan Hansen was playing for Liverpool, right? Not many defenders have got the cheek to do it. And I see Romero's doing it now, which I'm very happy with. So I think Vertonghen's had a little word in his ear, right? But what a class player, and reliable, not just reliable, but reliable with style, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
I'd
you
say
can
that's a great way
depend
to
on
describe
him. You can depend on him to make that last ditch tackle, to make that header, to do that beautiful pass. Maybe not as good as passer as Alderweireld, but he made up in other areas with his class. Loved him. Brilliant footballer.
Absolutely. I agree.
Well, let's not feel too sorry for Dawson, because prior to getting in the Spurs team, he'll be at home at West Ham, because he had a loan spell there before he came back to us and got in the first team. You know, so he'll be happy there. He'll be happy there, Dawson.
Good memory on you there, Adrian. And so he won't feel too out of place. He'll be at home there, and which is wonderful. I it's hard for me. Bobby K made me laugh here. Keep both. That's dirty, Colin. I agree. Dawson for his leadership abilities. I feel like Dawson, even though he was sort of maybe limited in some ways as a defender, I feel like whoever you put next to him became a better player because he was there. I don't know if it was his experience or if it was I'm sure it was his experience and his positioning, really. And he was probably just, a calming presence to be next to, because he'd seen a lot of it. He knew the game. He knew how to help you position as his defensive partner. He could help you keep your positioning. I don't know. He just seemed to offer a calmness that I assume just comes with time and having played a lot of ball. So it's tough for me too, but I'll keep Vertonghen as well. So that was another unanimous.
And the unique thing about Vertonghen and Alderweireld wasn't the fact that they played centre back for Spurs. What was unique about it for Belgium? They both played as fullbacks, because Company played in the middle. Forget whose side. I don't know alongside now. Right? Do you remember who was beside him, Ellie? No, I don't. I can't remember.
Now?
No, in Belgium back then, it wasn't.
Vincent Company, and was it this? They got a player called Visser with a W, but I'm not sure he was later. I think he was later.
What I thought was really good about them too, because they played at fullback, but for Spurs they played at centre back. They would be better in situation when wingers got through to them, because they were used to playing at fullback. And I just thought this must have had a positive effect on their play. I mean, I would have thought, because they were used to playing at fullback, So, because we know how many times centre backs get turned by nippy players, But
for sure. Bobby says it was Marnier, something like that.
I can't remember.
Yeah. Thank you, Bobby. We appreciate you, Bob. But yeah, you guys, I gotta start planning this better time wise. I keep having like 3 minutes to go and not being able to do a proper goodbye. But I'm having to close up shop, guys. Thank you so much for participating in Keeper West Ham. And real quick, where can everybody find you guys whenever you're not on my channel, saving me from being awkward and alone? We'll start with Ellie. You're everywhere, but name off some of the places we can find you.
Right. So every Monday with Sava on Football Heritage with Kate.
Congrats on that, by the way. That's an awesome
Nice.
one.
I love it. And then I'm with Kate on Wednesdays, and I was with her again today. She invited me on her show, which was lovely. We did the preview of Sheffield United. And then on El Tel Cacorel, I'm on there as well. When he gets his act together and gets his tech sorted, he makes me laugh.
Yeah, I like El Tel.
He's a great dude.
Man. Very knowledgeable and got a big heart, and he knows his Spurs. That's what I like. And with you, Colin, a regular fixture. Come on.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Ellie. You're welcome anytime, and I need you too. So it really helps. But yeah, Adrian, where else are you, bud?
You can find me on Twitter. Is my handle on here? No, it isn't. Is it? Is my name on here at all? No.
If I take this off, maybe. Let me take this comment off here. Nope. Hold on. Banner remove. There we go. Yeah.
Right. If anyone in the chat is interested, they go there on Twitter. That's my Twitter account, and you'll see a link to my Facebook page.
Perfect.
We've been going 4 years. We've got 12,000 Spurs members there. So we're doing.
I wonder if I'm part of it or not.
Ellie's on there as well. Sometimes she comes up and leaves messages, man.
Yeah.
But it's good, you know. I mean, like, it's very, very diverse now. We've got so many from the Southern Hemisphere, you know, as you can imagine. Sweet. Korean, Thais, Singapore, all that. Aussies now. Yeah. So yeah, it's just content. I'm not interested in doing podcasts. I appear on more and more now. Like,
thank you for being here. Truly appreciate it, sir.
But like yeah, so basically you just find so much content on the page. If you use Facebook, I mean, if you don't, it doesn't matter, does it? And if you don't use Twitter, it doesn't matter, does it? But I mean, like, you know, if you're interested, you know where to find us.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Love it.
Old school stuff. You know, because when you go on Adrian's Facebook, it's fabulous, and the Twitter account is pucker.
Ellie, I'll have to have you send me it. I'll have to have you send me it in WhatsApp so I know how to. You know what I mean? So I can become part of that.
I've added you today, Colin, on the Twitter
okay,
account.
Awesome, sweet.
So you should message me anytime you want. You know.
Yeah, lovely.
I think you've got me added already. I think you've already added me.
Oh, I probably did. I added so many Spurs fans. So yeah, I'm sure. So yeah, we'll speak. We'll speak there. And then I hate doing this. This is always embarrassing. But since I can't get super chats, since I can't do any of that membership stuff, I've started a Patreon for the channel. Check it out if you want. Patreon/Talking Ball. There's actually some pretty cool stuff with each membership. Got some Talking Ball bracelets. Going to be giving away some DH Gate knockoff kits because who wants to give Levy more money, right? Nobody. So we're going to have some knockoff kit giveaways and some real fun stuff. So you know,
how long you been going, Colin?
On this platform for like years since COVID started. Yeah, but I haven't really been pushing hard for subscribers and stuff for a while. I've been around the 200 mark. I think I'm at 237. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, consider it. Consider it. You know,
share it with your mates as well. Share the link with your friends who support Spurs or who love football, because at the end of the day, it's football. You know?
Yes, absolutely. And I forgot to talk about this earlier. Hopefully, POSTECOGLOU doesn't get in trouble with this Manager of the Month curse. We saw Nuno lose his job not long after receiving his. So fingers crossed that this isn't the same thing for POSTECOGLOU, but we know it won't be.
He's probably getting in trouble for keep winning it.
Yeah.
Hey, fingers crossed. And so we all know that we're winning our match tomorrow. So we'll all just real quick say our scores. I think it's going to be 2-1. Adrian, what have you got?
I'm going 6-1.
Whoa, love it. Ellie?
I'm going 4-1.
4-1? I knew it. I remembered from the other day.
He's already cheesed off Pep Guardiola because he's won all 4 of his matches, but we've drawn one of ours and won 3, and he's already cheesed him off, which is good in my book.
Oh, yeah. For sure. All right, ladies and gents, that is the end of today's edition of Crap of the Day. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're watching this back on repeat, love you, love yourself, everybody, and take good care of yourself. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.